Now, in today's video, we're taking a look at the ALLPOWERS R600, which is going to be a great option for those of you who are looking at an affordable choice when it comes to battery backup solutions. This little guy basically has lots of power and can be charged in the solar with solar panels. So this becomes a solar generator. Let's talk about the specs. First of all, you have 600 watts AC power, pure sine wave inverter with a max surge power of 1,200 watts. It has a 299 watt-hour capacity. The little generator is going to charge fully within 1 hour. It charges super fast. It's also using LiFePO4 batteries, which are the safest, most modern batteries that you're going to be able to find on the market. It also then has 3,500 cycles of charging, which is going to give you a long time of usage with this battery. From a port perspective, you have lots of ports. 2 AC ports, 2 DC ports. You also have cigarette lighted port, 2 USB-Cs, 2 USB-A, wireless charging. And by the way, you can run them all at the same time. It also can be controlled via a smart app. And basically, it has a solar input of up to 300 watts. So we have their solar panels. We've connected to this. And in a sunny day, we've seen in excess of 200 watts of power coming into this little generator. So literally, this could be an off-grid type solution, completely self-powering by using the sun. It also has an UPS feature, which is an uninterrupted power supply, which means that if you plug this into your PC, you plug it in the wall, and in the event that you have a power outage, it has a 10 milliseconds response time, which literally means that you're not going to be losing your machine. It's not going to crash because you lost power. So it has a lot of cool options. Now, on the very top of the unit, you're going to find a wireless charging base. So this is going to use this to charge your Android phone or your iPhone or any device that will charge wirelessly, even your earbuds. On the front, and we'll pull the display over like this, you can see it right here. A couple things going on. Basically, you have your display, which is pretty informational. I've been using this with our X-Tool F1 laser engraver, as you could use this like in a trade show environment where you may not have any power plugs and you just want to use this to power that unit. That little guy pulls, I think it's 100 watts, 108 watts total. So I can use this really well. You can see I have my 2 AC outlets. The only thing that I always find that's weird about ALLPOWERS is that I'm used to seeing, when you think about a 3-prong, this for me should be the other way. It's right now where the 3rd prong is on the top as opposed to it being on the bottom. That's just something that I find a little odd. Over here, you have your cigarette lighter. You have, again, those ports I was talking about. Each one of these can be powered separately. So when you push this, you basically enable this area. So right now you have your 2 USB-A, 2 USB-C. You have a light as well. And on the side here, we'll pull this over to the side so you can see the side. You do have your inputs, right? So you have AC input. I'll pop this open. So here you can see your AC input. And then what you have is, this is a reset switch. In the event that there's some type of surge and you have to reset it, I'll tell you, this comes in really handy. I've reviewed other solar generators where they don't have a switch to do a reset. That was a pain in the butt sometimes. So having a reset switch is pretty good. Over here, you have a solar input. This is your solar input cable that will go in here to give you the charge. And what I like about that reset is that sometimes if there's a surge, you have to wait some time for the reset to take place in some of these other units. And I like that it has a physical button to do so. The app for this guy is also pretty smart. It gives you a lot of information when it comes to being able to turn things on or off. And the app is going to be Bluetooth enabled. Now, as we take a closer look at the app, you'll see everything that's here. One of the things that I'll highlight about the app is, and I find that just a little odd, is that it doesn't remember the device, which I found a little bit weird. And maybe it's because I'm using a newer version of their technology. But a couple of things that we'll highlight here. First of all, you can see the total capacity of the battery. And I've been using this. I literally had it connected to my F1 laser engraver. You'll notice that I have 130 hours of power, 5 days because nothing is connected to it right now. And then what you see is that I have my input and my output. If I had it plugged in, how much this power is going in. I can turn things on and off, and you can hear it beep. And basically, I'm turning on the AC outlet and turning it off, and you can hear the fan kicked in. So to prevent any kind of damage, it will cool itself, so it will turn on. And the one thing I will say is that it's not the quietest. So let me see if I can do this again. You hear that? So it does speed up or spin up a fan right there. You didn't have your DC out connectors, and there's really only one switch that's going to power everything. So this is going to give you everything when it comes to USB-C, USB-A, and then also your DC output as well. You have on the bottom, you can turn on and off your LED light, and you can see me turning that on. It gets pretty bright really fast. And this is what you're going to also use to, I would say, update kind of any kind of firmware, right? So if this is a firmware upgradable solution, what you'd find is the app is where you're going to do it. So we've reviewed other products from ALLPOWERS, and this app works really well with those products. It just gives you the ability to maintain it and keep them up to date when it comes to any kind of firmware upgrades. But you can see, app is pretty straightforward. Highly recommend it. It's going to give you the ability to control it without having to come to it, and it's Bluetooth based. Now we have our generator in the outdoors, and I connected the solar panel to it. And you can see we have a pretty hot and sunny day here in Chicago. If we look at the app, we're getting around 164 watts of power coming in. So this is going to do a real nice job of charging the generator so that we can continue to use it. And at the same time, give us power that we could use in our campsite, or if we are on the outdoors. Let's say, for example, we are doing just a picnic outside, and we want to be able to provide power to some electronics that we have going on. Now, what I've been noticing is as I look at the power, and I'm going to go ahead and turn off a couple things here, because what will happen as soon as you do this, you're going to get faster charging, right? So you notice how I just turned off a couple things. So I turned off the DC and the AC power, and now that I've turned that off, I'm going to have, again, more battery life, and it's going to be a faster charge. Now, what I've been seeing is that depending on if the cloud is basically covering the sun or not, and that's going to be a normal situation for you, your power levels are going to range as low as maybe 40 to 50 watts, and then as high as 167 or 180 watts. That's what I've been seeing here in this setup. Let's take a closer look and see how everything is connected. Now, we'll continue the charging so that you can see things going. And a couple things that you'll notice here, and you'll see our dog Mika checking things out. The solar panel is really portable. The solar panel folds into a really nice, I would say, almost like a pouch. It's as if you were carrying an artboard with you, because that's how thin it's going to be. And you'll see that when we fold this up. Now, you do have a cable that's coming outside or coming from the generator. We're going to pull back a little bit so that you can see it. You can see it right there. And I have some other accessories that came with it. And that cable basically connects to the panels here, and it goes into the back of the generator. And then the generator itself will continue to charge. Now, I probably wouldn't put the generator out in the open sun like this. It's just probably not a good practice. Just for this sake of this video, I have it here. I probably put it underneath the panels, or I put it somewhere where it's in the shade. As you can see here, I've actually tucked it right underneath the solar panels. I think it's a good place right there, good placement, right underneath those legs. And that's going to keep it cool. It's not going to overheat, and you're still going to be able to get some power. Once again, you'll notice that just in the time that we've been doing this recording, it's gone up 2% now. I started out at 58% as I was doing this recording, did some edits, and then also you saw me recording a couple seconds ago. We were at 60, went from 60, 61, 62, just in a matter of minutes. So the solar panel, bringing in the 148 watts, is doing a great job of powering that little generator. Now, before we start plugging in some electronics so you can see how the generator works, first thing I'd highly recommend you pick up is one of these guys. This is going to be able to measure how much power is being drawn by your electronics, because that's one of the most challenging parts of selecting a generator. For example, this is going to work great for a laptop. This is going to go great for, let's say, if you want to use this as an uninterrupted power supply for a computer, so that in the event that there's a power outage, this will continue to run. Cell phones, tablets, all those things are going to work well. But for example, if you try to run a toaster on this, toaster is going to take 1,000 watts. 1,000 watts. That's going to exceed the capacity of this. So how do you know what type of power you need, and how much do your current electronics at home use? That's where something like this is going to come in, because you'll plug it in, you'll put in your electronic gadget or appliance into this, and this is going to read out and tell you how much power it needs. And you're going to see that in a second. So just to show you a couple of things, wireless charging is working at the very top here, right? So as soon as you basically power it up and you power up this section right here, wireless charging is going to work. And we've been actually charging our phones on the top. I'm going to take a phone and put it right here, and we'll see if it activates this one. If not, I'll grab another one. The case may be a little bit too thick. And let's see, there it goes. And you can see how it started charging on the top. So the wireless charging, we'll do that one more time. We'll change the angle of the camera. We'll bring it here, put it on top, and you're going to see wireless charging is activated. So it's going to work really, really nicely for those devices. Over here, if we were to, for example, to put in our Samsung phone and I were to plug it in, you're going to get, let me show we're getting that right there. You're going to get super fast charging, which is really great. So you have super fast charging there. If I were to take this other Samsung phone and plug it in over here, you'll also notice here, super fast charging. So the cool thing is that you're going to get super fast charging with the Samsung phones from these two USB-C ports, which also means charging a MacBook, charging, again, any device via USB-C, not a problem for you whatsoever. Now, just to give you a sense of how this little gadget works, and because of how the outlets are on the ALLPOWER, it's upside down. I'm powering up my Google Home, and you're noticing that it's taking up 7.4 watts. So you notice the little reading right there. And you know, depending on where it's at and what it's doing, it's going to go high or it's going to go low. Typically, there's going to be a high draw when it starts up, and then it kind of tapers down a little bit. But you can see that this is taking up to 8.3 or 8.4 watts. And based on that, you're going to get about 19 to 20 hours worth of usage on the battery. So again, depending on what you plug in, once you understand what your power consumption is, you're going to be able to see how much power you're going to be able to get out of this small guy. And once again, if you have this plugged in and you lose power, it's not going to affect this at all. So this is a great little device when it comes to electronics. And even we've been testing this with the laser engraver, and it's worked well as well to charge it because all it consumes is 100 watts. All right, so here's another example of something else that you can run. And this is going to be great for a craft show or a trade show. So this is the X-Tool F1 laser engraver. It's a dual laser engraver that you can take to trade shows, craft shows, and this little guy here is going to run it without a problem. Now, for those of you who are curious, the X-Tool F1 laser engraver is going to be using 15 watts of standby, 100 watts as it's engraving. More than enough power to support this little guy. So guys, that wraps up our review. See you in the next video.